I hate having to remake videos. But only when I'm that far into it. Wasn't that far, but at least I can waste less time. So, basically this is a ranking of all the season 1 Ben 10 episodes. Of the OG! OG, guys! Yes, it's been a while since I talked about it. And long story short, I'm adding some of the aliens to the cast. This is too hard to explain, and I'm not explaining it all again. Thank you. And anyway, hey, this is gonna be from worst to best. And anyway, the worst is the last laugh. You know how just because I watched this episode when I was in elementary school. But I didn't get to finish it. Hey, I stopped right before it can start some kind of acid trip scene that was in the episode. It was basically just Zombozo mocking Ben while he was terrified. Comparison time. I'm in the reboot of Ben 10, and they made Ben just hate clowns. In OG, they made him generic terrified. That moment you watch it at too young of an age. Because obviously OG Ben was one of those people. Oh. Basically, this entire episode is just freaky, and terrifying. Not terrifying for me. I just saw it. It's so freaky. It wasn't scary. Practically, this episode is just setting up kids to be scared of clowns. So, I feel like if you watch all of Ben 10 season, it's best if you skip this one. In fact, the only thing I think that was good about this episode was that they made Wildmutt act like a realistic dog. Just actual whimpering. Wow! I didn't think he was capable of that. He doesn't bark. What do you expect? And he doesn't have eyes. He's not a normal dog. Speaking of dogs, something tells me Chiwi's in a playful mood today. And the next one, will have to be Kevin 11. I don't think I really like this one, and it's that low on the list. What do you expect? And one of the reasons I don't like it is because right at the beginning of the episode, Ben literally breaks the law. Just to see his play his favorite video game. Something tells me that all the lecturing Ben got at the beginning of this episode, he deserved it. Hey, Ben, you should be lucky. Lucky though, because in Go Animate they give people way worse crimes for this. They give people way worse punishments than this. You could have gotten murdered by your grandpa. Seriously, the Go Animate people do that. Wait a minute, if Grandpa Max did take that route...
Oh no, we're screwed, dead.
Because if he was dead, then in the future the world will blow up! But seriously, the beginning of this episode makes me think that Ben actually deserves death. He even goes as far as to run away from home. He's so upset. I don't think you get the concept of punishment. I mean, at least Grandpa Max got the punishment right. You're grounded for 1 year. For sneaking into some place. Hey, stealing permission, and an offense that will get you ended up in jail. Yeah, one big theme about this ranking is that some episodes may make me see Ben as a not likable character. And after Ben runs away, he runs into Kevin, and then after a few minutes, Ben is literally oblivious to the fact that they are stealing. Okay, hey Ben, are you this much of an idiot? You're not a hero of villains. You're a hero for the dumb people doing dumb things all the time. Ben does eventually stop Kevin when he finds out the truth, but then another thing that makes this episode bad, Kevin pulls a season 6 Queen Chrysalis and refuses the reform acceptance. Really, Kevin? Are you crazy? After all you've been through? Yeah, this episode basically 0 out of 10. I hated it. And next we should talk about how Washington, B.C. I practically don't like this episode for the same reason as Kevin 11, and that Ben is just being an unlikable character in this episode and only caring about himself. And, well, seriously, this whole episode he's pondering over a golden card. Dude, I wouldn't go that crazy for Blue Eyes White Dragon! Wow, you're really doing terrible if this is actually the second episode of the series. What is going on here? The next one I want to talk about is... Next on the list is Secrets. Now, as far as I can tell, this is the season 1 finale, and for a season 1 finale, it kind of did awful. I mean, this episode I never got to finish. I never got to watch completely now, but I did watch the full thing back in elementary school, and I just remember it being about Velgax finally coming out of the pod and kidnapping Ben for the Omnitrix. And that honestly sounds like a very lame plot. Yeah, I feel bad for Ben, but two episodes ago, but literally 2 episodes ago, they had Ben get kidnapped, and it was actually interesting. But I'll get to that later. Next on the list is SHHH. You know what I mean. Now, this episode, I only got to watch back then. And that's because I watched all of season 1 with my brother, and he genetically refused to watch this episode. He just told me it was about some girls trying to steal something. And they end up having a certain alliance at the end. And so, until I actually get to see this full episode, I'm gonna rank it this low. Stay tuned for part 2.